What up, Dealy gang? It is Dealy Kamel here, and I am back from vacation, and we got an absolute bomb dropped on us in the leaks. The boys over at DLM and Brad announced that Sevens is coming to Duel Links, and we've got some boss monsters, we've got some animations, and we've got a lot of code. So let's talk about it. The footage you see on screen is from the Rush Duel Battle Royale Switch game. And I wanted to talk about how I think that Rush Duel is going to be implemented in Duel Links, the implications for something like this being added, and then I'll say what I think is good and what I think is bad. All right? So, let us get into it. So, I think the first thing that comes to my mind when adding Rush Duel to Duel Links is the fact that Rush Duel and the Speed Duel format are already two extremely different ways of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Just like Speed Duel is a way different way of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Than Master Duels. And if this is going to work, I think we're going to have our first true alternate format in Duel Links, and that is going to be so huge. However, it's going to come with a lot of complications. If you think about every in-game system in Duel Links now that is committed to speed duels directly, and then think that, you know, all of that infrastructure is going to have to be replicated for Rush Duels, they've got a lot of work, right? They've got to do Rush Duel specific missions, they got to have standard duels, they got to have a big enough release card pool of all Rush cards, not just new era summoning mechanics that they do every year, right? I think the base card pool has to be way larger than what we usually get. There's got to be, you know, new gate options, new tutorial stuff. So there is a lot that is not here in Duel Links for Rush Duel that they're going to have to add. However, I think it's really going to push the game forward. Now, we're not into what I think is positive yet, just what this means, right? So, you know, means there's going to be a new PvP ladder, and you're gonna have to, I don't know where your gems are gonna come from to spend on these cards. However, I do think that this is the best way to implement Rush Duels into a Yu-Gi-Oh game, right? This game you see on screen here, the Battle Royale Switch game, it got released, did not get any promotion, did not get follow-up support, and now they're making a new Go Rush video game. And I just think that that's not the real way to go about, you know, showing this format to the West. It had really big issues with it just not really selling well. You can't physically obtain Rush Duel cards in the West. So I think that them adding it to Duel Links is probably the best and safest option. And just thinking back a few months ago, you know, to Cross Duel. Cross Duel was a product, a unique product that failed simply because it was not Yu-Gi-Oh! And it was not promoted sufficiently. And, you know, the same thing happened with the Rush Duel standalone game. So if you're looking to incorporate this into something again, I do think the best way to do it is to take advantage of the large player base of Duel Links. Now, that's not to say that it's just going to be an instant slam dunk, right? They're still going to have to make Rush Duel a product that you want to go out of your way to interact with and play within Duel Links, but I think that that is still their best shot. Many of you may remember around the time when Master Duel was getting its promotional content and they showed it off for the first time, that they described Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links as a game where enjoyers of the anime and manga will be able to interact with the characters and the world and then play duels like that. Well, I could think of no better place to put a Rush Duel game that you could play, man, because personally, the other two mediums in which this game has previously been playable, right, in the standalone Switch games and on Legacy of the Duelist, I'm not even sure if it was on there. It's just insufficient. They don't have as much of a player base. There's much more for you to commit to than just having to boot up Duel Links and interact with Rush Duels and see if you like them. Now, what do I think about Rush Duel coming to the game in this capacity, right? So, we're kind of coming to the point where we are catching up, or we have caught up with Yu-Gi-Oh! Animes to add to Duel Links. However, we're still missing many cards from the later eras and many archetypes that just don't have their support. And they can only pull something like a Dark Side of Dimensions so many times where we get just generally very good cards without there being like an anime premise to it. So I think that Rush Duel is a good way to incorporate new and exciting things in Duel Links at the same time to allow them to do that year after year. And after this year with Rush Duel, if Rush Duel does well, maybe next year that they will do Go Rush, the next series, right? However, there are a couple things I'm really worried about. The first thing being is that if this is going to be what we get in September for our new world, this is going to be really strange, right? People are going to have their reservations about us getting a completely new and disconnected format that does not interact with speed duels whatsoever as our main content drop for the year. This past year with Reigns, we had possibly the best new world release ever in Duel Links, followed by, you know, the new cards being immediately the best cards in the entire game. Are we going to be okay? Are people going to be okay with us going from that to a year where all of the newly released cards are not playable in Duel Links? They're not viable whatsoever. They have nothing to do with it, and you can only play them in the Rush Duel format. I definitely think people are going to have some reservations about that, and, you know, I would hope personally that they do not do that. I hope that, you know, upon them releasing Rush Duels, I hope that Rush Duels' place in Duel Links is separated enough from I'm going to say Speed Duels from now on, right? Rush Duels should be separated enough from Speed Duels to the point where they are not competing for content updates, right? This year, man, like I keep saying it, but Konami has been absolutely killing it on Duel Links this year with powerful back-to-back boxes, repeated good balancing ban lists, and just freaking great cards being added to the game. Very strong cards and engines being added to the game consistently, which, you know, was not always the case. We used to go 6 months without new viable cards getting added. So I don't want to see them slip back into that and have some of the leeway be picked up by Rush Duels, a format that people, you know, that most people are not going to play. Some people are going to give the chance because it's the new world and all of that stuff. It's new content, but for those who really just want a Duel Links experience, I don't think Rush Duel is going to add enough for them to the game in a new world release. The new world releases, of course, after you play for a little bit, they do feel a little content light, but the real draw is all of the new tools that we have access to. What can we use them with in tandem with things that we already have to change the meta, right? Again, Rush Duel not going to be playing any part in this whatsoever. And look, let's talk about it. The shop. The shop is going to be a huge point of contention for Rush Duel in Duel Links. I was talking about this with some of my friends, and they were like, man, I do not know how Konami is going to try to get you to justify you spending gems on Rush Duel cards. In fact, I don't think that there is any way that Konami can possibly, you know, convince me that spending gems on Rush Duel cards is the play for me, especially if I'm someone who's been playing Duel Links for 6 years now. The best bet for Konami, I feel, in this situation is to introduce Rush Gems, right? Rush Gems for Rush Duels. Separate the reward pool completely. Do not make me choose on whether to spend my already limited resources between Rush Duel and Duel Links. I don't want to be punished by them adding a new format to the game and me automatically having less resources to play in both formats just because, you know, now I have to somehow justify buying Rush Duel cards. And what happens when good Rush Duel cards and good Duel Links cards come out at the same time, you know? And I'm playing both formats. I don't want to have to sacrifice my grind for gems, for Duel Links, for Speed Duel gems. This is what I'm going to call them now. Speed Duel gems, right? I don't want to my gems to be sacrificed to Rush Duel if just because I want to play both formats. I think that if I am playing in Rush World, I think that I should be getting Rush gems from leveling up Rush characters and completing Rush stage missions and Rush ranked duels. I do not want these two parts of the game to interact on any level. If they're going to be an alternate format, then that means alternate reward structure, alternate events, alternate character releases. I feel like if they co-mingle these things too much, then people are going to feel like their Duel Links experience has been diminished because of their foray into this new format. And I really don't want that to be the case. So, going over everything again, I am excited for Rush Duel and Duel Links. The Rush Duel fan base is very, very passionate about the game. And, you know, they have been in a rough spot because so far the game's introduction to the West has been pretty lackluster. It has not been great, and it has not gone too many places. So I feel like it is the best way to implement Rush Duel into a gaming space is to put it in Duel Links, hands down. That is correct. However, the way this has to go is it has to be an ultimate format, and the resources that you receive in the game and your playtime in Rush Duel should be committed in giving you Rush Duel resources. It can give you stones and jewels and gold and stuff, but you know, gems is really where I draw the line. I do not want to be sharing gems between the two formats. I don't want to be expected to spend gems or just be forced to spend money on Rush Duel cards because I want to spend my gems on Speed Duel cards. Give me Rush Duel gems for playing Rush Duel World, so you know that I'm committed to the Rush format. That is what's going to get me to play Rush Duel. That my time in Rush Duel will support my Rush Duel decks and me playing the format. And the same thing goes for Speed Duels. If I only play Speed Duels, I'm playing Speed Duels. I'm not messing with Rush Duel. And look, I think, you know, the other side of that is like people saying, oh, well, if I play Speed Duels, maybe I just don't want to play Rush Duel all the time, but I still want to progress it. I don't think that's it, man. I really don't think that's it, because the real negative is going to be coming in the form of the fact of you being expected to spend gems and split one currency of gems between the two formats. And I don't think that that is the way to really get this to pop off, to really get people to play this at the level that they want. You know, just looking at how much crap I used to talk about Master Duel in the year of its release. We are 18 months after Master Duel's release, and now they have started to host official Master Duel competitions at YCSs, and they've started to host remote duel, Master Duel competitions, and they already do it for Duel Links, and they do it for Speed Duels. Look, they want to be able to include Rush Duel in this category. This brings Rush Duel to the West in the greatest capacity that we have seen yet. I don't think that they really want to just, you know, have it in here and then have it flop. So if they really want to make it succeed, they need to separate the two formats as much as they can in the game to make your player experience the best for Rush Duel, to make sure you have the best feeling of the game going in that's going to keep you playing the format. So guys, let me know what you think about Rush Duel. Are you excited? Are you afraid for what it will mean for the future of Duel Links? Are you going to play it? Do you hope they separate the gems? What do you care? What do you not care about? What are you afraid about, guys? I'm Kamel. Peace out. Thanks for coming through.